All right, welcome back, everybody. Today, I will try to present the case for what I believe is the truth, the dark truth of Dragon Communion, something that I discovered the other morning before I went to work. And then I worked it out on a live stream I did later that evening. And if you want to watch those live streams, you can. They're good, I think. But today in this video, I'll try to present the case for this theory, the dark truth of Dragon Communion. And I think, in my opinion, it works really well. And this will give us the reason why Grand Sax attacked Lindell, the capital, and which led to the war against the ancient dragons. And that's all this theory is why that event occurred. So let me tell everybody what Dragon Communion is and where it came from, if you don't know. If you know, you know, right? So for those who don't know, Dragon Communion was started by ancient dragon lord Placidus Sax when he barely won the war against the Drakes, which are another faction of dragons, right? So at the end of that war, he started Dragon Communion because I suppose you could say, he needed the help of humans to finish off the Drakes, to hunt them down and kill them and, win 100%. But the humans would get a reward. They would be allowed or, taught to eat the hearts of the Drakes, of these dragons, right? And in doing so, they would gain strength and power. Let's thank our demonstrator, Calistral, over here for our demonstrations. Thank you, Calistral. See you next time. All right. So the other morning, when I was playing, I was here at the Cathedral of Dragon Communion. And I was looking around, and I was like, man, this place is really tore up. And it seems like it's tore up much worse than everywhere else. Oh, goodness. All right, and we're back by the power of America. So I'm looking around this place, right? There's an ancient dead dragon over there. The statues have been desecrated. This place is in ruins. There's human remains, right? And I started thinking, this place is not what it seems. This isn't right. Something's wrong. Something's bothering me. My instincts are telling me, ooh, why are there so many human remains? Right? And so I started thinking about what we know about Dragon Communion. And Yura tells us,
those who partake in Dragon Communion will one day shed their humanity, their hunger for dragon, their yearning only worsens until the floodgates burst, unleashing eternal torment, the strength of a mighty dragon. Magnificent, but deadly. It's no surprise that Dragon Communion is ruinous.
Let's thank Veronica for going out to the swamp to talk to Yura for us. Continuing, so we know that Dragon Communion is ruinous, as Yura said. It begins to change you. And I don't have any footage of the first step. The first step is your eyes are going to change into like serpent eyes. And then the next step, you begin to shed your humanity. And this is what you turn into. A dragon man. You turn into a dragon man. You're no longer human. You're a humanoid dragon, misshapen creature type thing. A ghoul, maybe. But yeah, it doesn't look fun at all. And now we get to the gruesome fate of somebody who's partaken in Dragon Communion too many times. Someone who was so good at it, they turn into these magma worms, crawling on their bellies with their malformed wings. This is your fate. This is the fate of humanity. Did the dragons know this would happen to us? Were they indifferent to the horrible fate that awaited us and continue to allow this Dragon Communion to continue just because they wanted revenge for what the Drakes did for their war. Horrible. What a horrible thing. But we know that it continued and that we know that the dragons allowed it. And they probably didn't tell anybody because if people knew, they wouldn't do this. They would not want to become this monster that you see right here. That is a horrible fate. And that is just one of the dark secrets of Dragon Communion. All right. So let's go to the next one. And this is the darkest one. This is the one that inspired this video. The dark secret truth of Dragon Communion is that they practice human sacrifice, not just drakes, but human. And these bones that you see at my feet tell me this to be true. These bones are everywhere in this place. Look at this place. And I know what you're thinking. Golden Inquisitor, how can you think this? These bones are from the Scarlet Rot, people who have died from Scarlet Rot. These bones are people who died during the Shattering War. These people died because of Melania's bloom. And I tell you, you are wrong. Because not only are these bones here, but they're also at the Church of Dragon Communion. So the Church of Dragon Communion is just like almost just like the cathedral. We see the ancient dragon. We see the desecrated statues of the dragons. It's overgrown by nature. Well, there's no scarlet rot here to kill the nature, but nature is, reclaiming this place. It's in ruins. We don't know what it looked like before. Place could have been beautiful, right? A beautiful place. This could have been a secret door. There's no skulls. There's no bones of humans anywhere. Could I have been wrong? Could I be wrong? How could I be so wrong? Look at this place. It's beautiful. There can't be human sacrifices here. There cannot be. Unless we look deeper. And there we have it. We have the skulls piled up before an altar, like an altar. Right? They're there. Hidden in the bushes, hidden in the brush. The developers are hiding the secret. They're hiding this from us intentionally so we can find it. So if we do find it, we can make the connection that Dragon Communion was not what we were led to believe, or not what the people of the lands between were led to believe. If we look behind the dragon, behind the statue, there's another pile of bones, skulls, humans sacrificed to the ancient dragons. Now, could it be out of worship? Maybe. Could it be because these people learned the truth about eating dragon hearts would turn them into monsters, so they became sacrifices? I'm not sure, but all I do know is that they were sacrificed. And another thing, I also thought, well, if I can find a pile of bones like that piled up at Dragon Communion at the cathedral, then that would also tell me that they were sacrificed. And there's the pile of bones piled up. And that's not the only one. There's several. So Dragon Communion lied to the people. It transformed them into monsters. And then perhaps the people that learned the truth were sacrificed to the ancient dragons, silenced. But one thing we do know for sure is that the people did find out. There were those that did fight back. And how do we know that they fought back? Because we see the desecrated statues of the dragons. And we also see the dead ancient dragon there. Right? But let's talk about the statues first. Where have we seen statues with their heads taken off? Somewhere else in game. And if you're thinking the Shadowlands, you're right. And we find them all over, right? The statues of America, the Eternal Queen, the one true God of the Golden Order. Her statues decapitated, desecrated, literally defaced. I mean, the soldiers that were trapped there in the Shadowlands had lost their faith, and this is how they expressed it. More one way that they did by desecrating these statues. So if we think about it, we can apply this logic to Dragon Communion because they did the same thing. And also another thing that they did was that they started killing the ancient dragons, and that's why we find them dead here. They started killing them, and perhaps in killing them, they learned that the scales of the ancient dragons, can make their weapons stronger. They can use them. And in killing them, they harvest the wings. Here we see this dragon here does not have wings. And we know that ancient dragons had 2 sets of wings. That makes 4 wings total. And they're missing. This dragon here at the cathedral does not have its wings. And the dragon at the church does not have its wings. Look at this. The retaliation because of these followers finding out that A, they would turn into monsters, B, that they were being sacrificed. Also, their revenge was so great that they destroyed Dragon Communion and nearly wiped it out. But the ancient dragons would not just sit by idly while their servants and sacrifices would fight against them. Not again. Not like the drakes. No, they made a preemptive strike to Lindell, to the capital, to the head of humanity, to cut it off at the head, and Grand Sack's attack. And that is the reason Grand Sax attacked the capital, kicking off the war against the ancient dragons. Now, I don't believe that the people of Lindell, of the capital of the north, knew what was happening. I don't even think that the Dragon Communion religion was even a factor in their daily lives. And the only reason I say this is because after the war had ended, the Erdtree Sentinels had this epiphany, it says here, that the only way to truly protect the Erdtree was to become dragons themselves. So that tells me 2 things, right? 2 possible things. One, the people in the north didn't know anything about Dragon Communion or what was happening down in the south. And the reason I say that is because we only find the cathedral and the church in the south of the continent, in Limgrave and in Caelid, right? And if we think rationally, logically, and this is a medieval land that they live in, news and stuff is going to spread really slow, right? So we have that. Or two, the Dragon Communion evolved into the ancient dragon cult, and the practice of eating hearts was abolished. And the religion that survived must have evolved alongside with the ancient dragon cult into incantations instead of transformation. And we see that evidence in the Banished Knights, using incantations instead of transforming, as you see in the footage. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is my theory on the dark truth of Dragon Communion. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it makes sense. If you have any feedback, let me know. I'm listening. I'm here. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, everybody that made it this far.